Hey, Carl Daikeler here at Beachbody headquarters for Superstar Diamond Day. With me is Lindsay Matway, one of our newest Superstar Diamonds. Lindsay, how does it feel to be celebrated by 400 people when you enter the building as one of the new 15-star Superstar Diamonds?
Well, I'm not normally emotional, but I'm pretty sure everybody that was here watching saw that I got teary-eyed and a little bit shaky in the voice. It was overwhelming because I've never experienced anything like that in my entire life.
Really?
Yeah.
I would think whenever you enter a room, there's applause.
I don't know, but not like that. It was just, I guess, a full circle moment of realizing that this really did happen. It wasn't just something that somehow I snuck in there and tricked everybody into thinking I got 15-star diamond.
Right.
I actually did.
It's
crazy.
real.
Yeah.
So it feels good.
It feels amazing.
That's awesome. And is your team excited for this? Like, are they sharing this moment with you at all?
For sure. And that was really like my driving force to do it, was to prove it was possible. Because I know when I was able to do it, it cuts the path for them, that there will be future people that now know. Because I was able to do it, now they are able to do it.
Yeah.
So.
Now, well, it's a big path to get to Superstar Diamond. 15-star Diamond that's a lot of people that you're affecting their lives, and a lot of people who need to take this seriously and drive to Diamond. What was driving you to get to this goal? I know you're a driven person, but still, you've had some decent success. You've started to see the financial rewards of that. You didn't necessarily have to drive all the way to Superstar Diamond. What was it that has driven you this far?
I just wanted to prove it to myself that it was possible. I've always kind of been a quitter in my life, and I used a lot of my circumstances as my excuse not to succeed. And I thought when I found out that that was the top rank, and I mean, the Superstar name was kind of convincing too, I'm not going to lie. But I wanted to prove to myself and my team that I was capable of doing that, because I had to reassure myself as a leader what kind of leader I was. And does a leader, stop halfway, or they get comfortable in their money and sit back? No, like I have to prove to myself it's possible. I had to show my team it's possible and lead them to that path, because they're not going to follow anybody but me.
Nobody would have imagined that the words that would come out of your mouth is, I am usually a quitter.
I am. I was. I'm not anymore.
Right. Well, that's a big deal. What was the why? We talk about, what's your reason for getting fit or trying to lose weight? Like, is it just about a bathing suit? Is it just like, so here you are driving your business. What was the why that this time you said, you know what, I'm not going to be that quitter anymore?
For me, it was becoming a mom, and my family growing up, we weren't allowed to do a lot of things, mainly financially. If we had big dreams, they were kind of put on hold because you had to live in that reality of having limitations in your life. And when I had her, she was actually born with a 90% chance of cerebral palsy from a brain bleed. And the therapist had told me, the more present I am and the more I work with her, I'm able to be in her life day by day, the less likely she's going to have delays and things like that. And my whole driving force was, I want to be present in her life. I never want to miss anything. I want to give her every opportunity in life possible. And then I realized the only way I could do that is by giving myself that same, capability to be able to be present in her life, to create something for our family that both Billy and I could live off this thing, and that we could provide that for our family. And then when it got so big that we could have provided for our family, then it's like, I have to give this to as many people as possible, because it's the best gift I've ever been given.
Well, what's amazing to me when I hear these stories, there's no shortage of network marketing opportunities, and probably, I don't want to sell against us, but there's probably other ways to make money faster or easier selling gimmicks or cheaper stuff. Why this one? Why was this the opportunity that you chose when it was a matter of family for you? So a lot of people would say, well, I'd love to do that one that actually helps people, but my family's at stake here. I need a faster track to wealth creation. Why Team Beachbody?
So the funny thing about my journey with Team Beachbody is I wasn't recruited by another coach. So I used the programs to get back in shape after I had London, and I posted a YouTube video, not as a coach, as a customer, showing people what was possible, because I was like, oh, if I can inspire a few people to do this, then it might change their life. And so I called Beachbody to find out if they had a referral program. Not because I thought I was going to, become Superstar Diamond. I didn't know what this existed. I was hoping to maybe get a little commission off on the side, just because I enjoyed what I was doing. And when I found out about the opportunities with this, it just made sense. Like I loved the feeling of being significant in somebody's life. I wasn't chasing the rich and famous thing. I was chasing purpose. I wanted meaning in my life, and this provides that. So
That's pretty interesting. So you actually designed the coaching opportunity before you knew the coaching opportunity was there, and then you were like, oh, well, it's already there.
Thank you.
So, but from that to 15-star Diamond is a long road, and with a lot of ups and downs, and it is not a straight line.
No.
What were some of the challenges that you've had to overcome, and how did you overcome them?
Well, the first and probably biggest challenge was when I called into Beachbody, I was randomly assigned a sponsor. And so I didn't choose who I was with. And that person ends up not really being active in the business. And so it was one of those things, those moments in your life that you're always going to look back on and say, that was one of those moments that changed my life. That mindset just shifted. So I didn't use that excuse of my sponsor, I don't have this, I don't have anybody placed in my downline. I just decided, you know what? I'm going to be the kind of sponsor I wish I would have had. I can't change things that happened or go back and make a different choice of sponsor. I have to be that kind of sponsor. So I put in the work from that point on to learn every single thing I possibly could about this business so that when that day came and I found another person that wanted it the way I did, that I could be that perfect sponsor for them that I wished I would have had. And that's how I've approached the business. And I think that's why I was succeeded with it.
Wow. When did your business start to ramp up? Like, was there a specific sort of, change in the direction that it really took off?
Yeah, so I started actually building the business July of 2010. And then the first 6 months, you're trying to learn everything and get going. And I had this 5th grade teacher at one point that talked about every grading period was a clean slate. And so when it came to 2011, the launch of the new year, I viewed it as a clean slate. Maybe I couldn't keep up with Josh Spencer or some of these big shots at the time at that July date. But when it came to January, I just decided I can work just as hard as them. Like there's nothing different between me and them other than the desire and the work ethic and the discipline to make it happen. And so you guys launched a Scouted Out challenge, and they said if you got in the top 3 of all Success Club point earners that month, you would win a trip to Cabo. And that was one of those trips, like Tahiti.
Yeah.
It's one of those trips you always dream about. And I just decided, I told Billy, I'm going to do it. And I told my team, I'm kind of big on calling out my dreams. I say them before I do them, not only because I'm a big vision person, but I need to hold myself accountable. And when I put myself out there, it makes me pull and push for it. And so I worked my tail off that month. And at the end of the month, I got a text message from Denise Needham. And she said, congratulations. And I can't explain the feeling, but I cried the ugly cry, as Oprah would call it. on the floor just sobbing because the walls of my life that you built up over time of what's possible for your life, they just shattered in that moment. And from then on, anytime there's a challenge, anytime there's something that seems impossible, I suddenly knew it was possible. And so that was like the big moment for me, January of 2011.
Yeah. Now, from that moment to now, we talk about the 3 vital behaviors: invite, invite, invite. Be a product of the product and do personal development. Obviously, you have never slowed down inviting. You continue to be a product of the product, and that video on YouTube was a big part of what attracted people to you initially, I presume.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
And how about personal development? How important has that been to your consistency?
It is absolutely the most important thing about this business to me. We all have things about our lives that hold us back or bad habits we do. And the personal development side gets me in the right mindset to be able to realize I can break through some of these bad habits and, past issues that I had. And now I'm a completely different person. If I had stayed the same person I was 2 years ago, I wouldn't be sitting with you today. I'd be mixing drinks, at one of the cocktail parties you guys throw.
Right.
And it's a mindset, this whole thing. Believing that it's possible, realizing that you have what it takes, or that you can, the things that you don't have, you can learn them. They're skills to be able to be where we are. There's no reason why you can't if you're doing that every day.
Yeah, well, I think some people take it for granted, they don't really mean it. But we make it one of the 3 vital behaviors because it's vital. But I think, and within that, and whether it's for attitude or tactics, people take for granted what what it takes to invite, and that there's actually a bit of a sales process to this. And I think even people watching this might think, oh, she's so pretty. It can't be hard for her to strike up a conversation with somebody. But for somebody who looks like me, they're probably like, that guy's not going to get to first base with this business at all. What do you say to somebody in terms of a tactic for how do you teach your team to recruit coaches? What is one of the primary things?
The fundamental thing for me goes down to the golden rule: treat others how you'd want to be treated. I hate being sold. And so I just want to be respected. And when I'm talking to them, I treat them how I'd want to be treated, which is, I want you to make me feel valuable. Like, not valuable like where you're going to make money off of me.
Yeah.
That you actually value me as a person, that you want to get to know me. And so taking the time to get to know that person, not just what can they do for me, but what can I do for them? What does this person need that I could somehow fulfill that? And so when I'm talking to someone, I'm not looking to figure out how I can pop Shakeology in there.
Right.
I'm looking how I can get to know them as a person, find out what their goals are, and see if possibly something that Beachbody has given me could fit and fill their life. And so that's probably one of the biggest things.
And I just wonder, like, how often do those conversations, 10 out of 10, lead towards something that is Beachbody or Team Beachbody related, or 5 out of 10? Like, how aggressive are you at the checkout line at the supermarket? I just wonder what it's...
Well, that's the cool thing about Beachbody is, though, you can kind of fit them in everywhere. I don't push people to become coaches before they're ready. That was something that you guys talked about at leadership, the whole advocate coming, So I don't want to just convince them to become a coach, but I'm sure most people in America would like to better their lives, whether it be financially, physically, mentally, and having that community. So there's challenges. I almost would say 9 out of 10 people are going to be a part of something with my group. I don't even care if they buy something from me. I just want to be a part of their life. And I think that when you come across that way and you mean it, you have to actually mean it.
Right.
That people really do want to be in your circle and they want to be a part of what you are.
Okay, so let's call that number 1 of Lindsay's top 3 tips. Okay, so number 2 would be moving them from wanting to be a part of the inner circle to getting to a page where they're looking at a challenge pack. What is the conversation that moves them closer to actually transacting? Because that's part of it. That's one of the reasons that you're successful, is you generate cash flow, and that generates wealth. How do you train people to make that transition?
To make the sale.
Yeah.
Being able to then listen to their life and figure out where that need is met and put them face to face with, okay, this is your goal. Is it worth you being a part of this for 90 days to achieve that goal? Making a full circle so that they can start to think it's not just about $119 or $150, $160, whatever.
Right.
They start putting a value on their goal rather than, the Shakeology. And when you throw it out there for somebody, if you dig deep enough and you find, I guess we talk about the why, if you find their real why and you put them face to face with it and create a vision for their life of what it could be like once they have achieved that goal, and they already feel that they can trust you, that you're going to be locking arms with them and you're not going to let them fail. Because that's kind of how I go about it. I'm not going to let you fail.
Right.
I'm going to go. We're going to lock in with this. Once they feel that confidence and they can feel that you believe in them, they start to believe in themselves. And that's really the issue. And so then it's more easy to transition them into a challenge pack.
So that's great for a challenge pack. We'll call that Lindsay's top 2.
Okay.
Get them in the inner circle, then show them how their why has value that is probably greater than the price of a challenge pack. Okay, so they get some results. Things are going well. They're posting their photos. How does it go from there to becoming a coach? And that could be, you could determine that on 2 levels. One, somebody who you'd actually like to have on your team as a coach.
Be choosy.
Right, and somebody who would want to be a coach. Again, not being somebody who wants to feel like they were sold into being a coach. How do you make that, that third step?
Well, I absolutely never feel I have to sell someone on becoming a coach. The challenge groups have been amazing, and I really focus on having daily assignments that starts to make them think. I want to have the wheels turning. So I make one of the challenge assignments is to make a list of 5 people that you would love if they were inspired by your journey to start their own journey. And so they write out those people. And then the next couple of days after that could be, what is one person in your life that really does need this help that you think that you could reach out to today, and maybe mention something about your journey and share a little bit about your story. And I make them just start to transition with those, planting those seeds, I guess you would call it, planting the seeds for coaching. I have them share their stuff on Facebook, on their Facebook wall about it, so that piques interest. And slowly, it's the ones that are active in the group. It's the ones that are really using the products, really starting to see their lives change. It's almost a very natural progression to become a coach, because then they're going to start having their friends on their wall posting on, what are you doing? So then when they come to refer somebody to me, I say, okay, well, I'm happy to take the commission. I mean, if you want to give me the commission, that's fine, and I'll take care of this person for you.
Right.
But I should probably tell you about something else that has like completely changed my life.
So it's natural.
Yeah. And a lot of times I'll invite them on team calls to listen and be a fly on the wall. It's very unintimidating for them to be able to just listen and stalk us. And so that's kind of how I go about it.
So those three things, that's kind of your work.
That's kind of what I do.
Yeah. So, and that has led, let's see, what's the year been like? You went to the Bahamas and got recognized on stage as a leader. You went to Tahiti with the top 10 coaches of last year and had a full-on blowout luxury week in Tahiti. And now you're getting celebrated by 400 people here at corporate, plus the other 300 around the country as being a top leader. Describe in your words what your year has been like from a 30,000 foot level.
It's like a fairy tale, and I always wondered, like Cinderella, all the stories you watch when you're growing up. It's like a real life Cinderella story. I mean, I watch that movie with my daughter now at home, because we're always at home. And it's possible for every single person that I could possibly reach out to that might be them one day. And so it's cool to be up here. It's awesome. But like, I can't wait for the day that I'm launching Cinderellas all over the place. And there's so many people out there that their lives are completely changed because of this. Because you can't describe it. You really can't. It's amazing. You all changed that.
Well, you sort of answered my next question, but I'll still ask it, because we've seen in this business, there are people who achieve financial success and personal rewards in terms of helping people around them beyond what they ever thought. Beyond the sort of, even doctors who went into medicine because they wanted to help people and then saw that they could dramatically expand that through the coaching business. But then something clicks that is, hey, I've done it. So they sort of tail off and they sort of go the other way down the hill and they forget what their drive is. How do you intend to stay motivated now that you've had this success?
I've always felt deep inside me that someday, some way, I'm going to do something big with my life. And I feel a responsibility to be a game changer for people, because it's been given to me or earned by me, but in some ways given. There's no way I could stop. I would feel guilty every day if I stopped. And I think when I hit 15 Star Diamond, there was a moment of, oh, I got it. And then I had to rethink about what was my next goal.
It's 10 minutes, a 10-minute
break. I was like 13. And then I was like, you keep doing it. Yeah. You keep going and you do it and you do it and you do it, because it's not even about the financial success. It's about what it feels like to change someone's life and know that somehow by you reaching out to them, their whole family is going to now be a part of their life and have unlimited opportunities in their life. How could you stop?
Is that how you define success now? And has that changed since you've been in the business? Like, do you visualize success in a different way?
Oh, for sure. When I first got in the business, if I made $50,000, that would be more than my parents ever made, together. Success to me now is defining, using your life, the things that you went through, the struggles, the triumphs, the tribulations, all that stuff, to better somebody else's life. If they're in the thick of all that you could show them that it's possible. And I think that's how forever I'm always going to live my life, is I want to use it as much as possible until at the end of the day I'm completely squeezed dry and have nothing else to offer.
Well, it's a real inspiration, and we really are proud of you and the work that you do. and proud to hold you up as one of the true leaders of this business. So that's what it takes to be a 15-star diamond, and that's what it feels like. So it's worth it. Go for it. And if you can lead like Lindsay, you're doing something right.
Thanks, Carl.
Thank you, Lindsay. Good work.